Thanks, Eric. I'm here with Shelly, our rabbit extraordinaire, and she's going to share with us today a little bit about rabbit care and our friend Todd. So Shelly, what can you tell us about Todd?
Todd is what we consider a roo, a red-eyed white rabbit. They're very common. There's New Zealand roos, there's American roos. I believe he's an American roo because the New Zealand ones are a little bit bigger. They're known for their sweet personalities. A lot of people are a little bit freaked out by the pink eyes, but once you have a roo in your life, you realize how beautiful they are and how sweet they can be. They're known for some of the best temperaments.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I have gotten to know Todd a little bit over the past week, and he seems like such a sweetheart. He's really coming out of his shell since he arrived here. He was a little timid at first, but you've been working so well with him, and I know I can see a difference. So on that topic of what you do here at the shelter, can you tell us a little bit more about what you do for our rabbits and just how you got involved with SPCA Tampa Bay?
So I do I'm an adoptions counselor for the small animals, and I also foster for them as well. I found a calling to the SPCA because I really wanted to work with small animals, and there's not many places that adopt out small animals. And I have a passion for rabbits specifically, and a lot of people don't know a lot about rabbits. And I just I feel like they're the underdog of the pet world.
For sure.
So I feel like they need us to educate more people on what great pets they can be.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, you do such a good job. I know that we heavily depend on you to educate the community and to care for them, provide all the awesome enrichment, because that's a big part of what you do. I know from what I've witnessed, you come in here, you give them all the awesome treats and toys and make sure they have lots of things to keep their minds busy.
I'm a bunny slave, what can I say? I love it.
So what can you tell us about why rabbits make such good pets?
Well, I think that they make really great pets because, first of all, they're quiet. That's probably my number one reason. But also, they're really good for the average person who is working or in school, because their busiest time of day when they're most alert and awake is dusk and dawn, which is called crepuscular. Kind of a mouthful, but they kind of chill out and semi-sleep most of the day. So it's not the kind of pet you feel like you're neglecting when you're gone 8 hours a day at work.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They can be litter box trained. You don't have to be home at a specific time to let them out like you do a dog. I just think that they are one of the most underrated pets. I think a lot of people don't understand them very well because they're not very vocal. I think that's one of the biggest things because, you know, cats and dogs know how to beg. When you learn rabbit behavior, you learn that they beg also. But it's not real obvious. You have to be patient with them. And my husband, if you ask him, he says, when I asked him why he thinks rabbits make good pets, he said because they're unexpectedly entertaining.
I like that.
Yeah, because once you get to know them, you realize like they are very, very curious by nature. They're really interactive. They show happiness by doing a little run and jump called a binky. When they do that, there's not much better in the world.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So that leads me to my next question. What pets do you have at home?
I have 4 rabbits and a dog right now. Just one dog. We lost one over the summer, but yeah, we tend to keep a full house.
And they all get along and they all play together, or they kind of have their own separate spaces?
Well, so my bunnies, I have, they all live in the house because I think that's important.
Mm-hmm.
They all have, 2 of them have their own bedroom, which was a COVID thing, when we were quarantined, we converted one of our spare bedrooms into a bunny room.
I love that.
If all the bunnies could be in there, that would be great. But you can't just like throw bunnies together that don't know each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a pair in there, and then I have 2 singles that I'm trying to bond slowly. Right now, they're kind of frenemies. They want to be friends, but then they like to box each other between the gates when the other one is in their area. One is completely free roam because he doesn't chew or destroy things like some rabbits can. You have to be careful. They can destroy your furniture. They eat your baseboards, but then you do have the occasional rabbit that doesn't do any of that. And he uses his litter box like 99% of the time.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it makes it really fun.
So how do you litter box train a rabbit? Is there a good way to do it?
I believe that litter box training starts with getting them spayed or neutered. Because until they're spayed or neutered, they are going to be in a constant state of marking their territory. So that's the one thing that I love about that SPCA is majority of all the rabbits that go out get spayed and neutered first. Yeah. And then what I typically say is you get a hay box or litter box. It's kind of big, something they have to kind of jump into. And you have to use rabbit-friendly litter. You put hay on top. They jump in there, they learn, like that's where they eat their hay, and they go to the bathroom. Most rabbits tend to go into the bathroom in like 1/4 of the box and eat hay off the other. And I start with a smaller area when I'm litter box training. You don't want to give them the whole run of the house because that makes it confusing. They're going to run around marking everything. Right. Or if you keep them in more of a pen like this, start with 1 pen and then put the litter box in one area, and if they keep going outside of the litter box in a certain space, you move the litter box over there. If you have to, add another litter box. Yeah. And then once they learn this is their potty area, then you can start expanding their space too.
I see. Gotcha.
But after spay and neuter.
Yes. Yeah, that's great. Very helpful. So my last question is, what advice would you have for a first-time rabbit owner? Because I know we have an adoption event going on right now for our pocket pets, and a lot of people might be motivated by that to come in and get a rabbit for the first time, but they may not have done all the research. They may not know what they're getting into. So what tips would you have for those people that have never had a rabbit?
Well, my first tip is research. But like you said, sometimes people come in and they might not have done that yet. But after research, I say supplies. At the very minimum, you need to take home a rabbit with a space you can contain them in. I'm not a huge proponent of cages, because cages you have to reach in to get them out, and that's scary to most any animal when you have to like put your hands in. That's why I like the open pen idea, because you can get in with them and sit on the floor and let them come to you as opposed to you dragging them out. And a lot of people don't realize, like, all these cages that are marketed for rabbits, most of the time they're too small. Yeah. The real reason why they are marketed for rabbits is because they are expensive, and stores make money off of these cages. This is going to be about 1/3 of the cost of a cage. And it's much better environment. You would want something taller than this because, as you know, they can jump. Right. But I think that you need to definitely be prepared with at least being able to contain them in a certain area, have litter, have hay, a lot of hay. You can never run out of hay. Obviously, food, people can pick up on the way home if they had to, but my favorite adopters are the ones who already have all this when they come in the first place. Definitely. And also note that, like with any pet, get a rabbit because you want to, not because your young child thinks they're cute, because I think that is a much better scenario. People might get them because they look cute and cuddly for their 5-year-olds, and that's fine, provided children are taught not to pick them up because they don't really love to be picked up. So they're not like the ideal pet for a young child. But at the same time, I've met many people who've come in here who've kept in touch with me, who've adopted and used it as a way to teach their child how to properly be around them.
Right.
And I love it when I see that. But that comes from the parent wanting the pet first, not the other way around.
Right.
So.
Well, and a lot of people also don't realize rabbits live a long time, and they're a long commitment. So I think that's another big thing people need to consider on top of that.
I think the sad truth is I think a lot of us have that story of when we were younger, we had a rabbit like live to be a year or two. Everybody assumes that rabbits don't live very long. It's because we didn't know how to properly take care of them.
Yeah.
20, 30 years ago, the internet wasn't as common.
Right.
You didn't have the resources like you do now. And I think everybody thought rabbits only live a couple years, when realistically, in the right environment, with the right diet, and love and care and exercise, they need that too. 8 to 12 years is the average life expectancy.
Yeah.
So kids grow up and they go to college. Usually don't take their bunnies with them.
Well, Shelly, is there anything else that you would like to share with our podcast viewers today about rabbits?
Come talk to me. I'm here usually Wednesdays and Saturdays. Most Wednesdays and Saturdays. I think one-on-one time, researching as much as you can and talk to as many people as you can. I've been involved with rabbits for going on 10 years now, and I'm still learning. Yeah. And you can never learn too much, but be prepared to have it be a pet as an interactive part of your home, your family member, not a bunny that lives outside by itself, because that's not the best. But they're, as you can see, they're lovable creatures.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Shelly, for joining us today. And
thanks for having me.
Todd is available for adoption. We have an adoption wave going on right now for all of our pocket pets. So right now he does not have an adoption fee, but we do recommend you do all of your research before coming in to meet him or any of our other pocket pets. Make sure you've got all the right supplies and know what you're committing to when you come in to adopt. Back to you, Eric.